what you're going to get out of today is nothing blinding in terms of technology. You're not going to go away saying, wow, that's really clever. You're going to hopefully take away, say, wow, that's really easy. And I'm actually going to describe something that I had to do at my workplace, and it was over a year ago, and I actually did pretty much this presentation over a year ago. And so it's probably out of date for certain things, maybe, but let's go ahead. So everybody knows Tomcat. I'm sure you've all had experience with it, but a quick show of hands for who's currently using Tomcat in their production environment today. Okay, it's still fairly widely used. Okay, that's good. What I'm going to talk about in terms of tweaks, there are tweaks and there are tweaks. The tweaks I'm talking about are just tiny little things that you can do, something that annoys you or something you need from the actual Tomcat software. But then there's the other extreme of tweaks, which are, bolt-on products such as something that's called Tommy. Who's got familiarity with Tommy? No? Well, it's very low. It's actually an incredible project. So it was originally one product, and then they went for certification of it, and it actually became two products. They scaled back the main product to get it certified for the web profile version. But so the web profile version of Tommy is basically Tomcat with all these things already built, ready to go for you, and it's actually pretty impressive. For me personally, I was very much interested in the CDI, the JPA, and the JTA side of things that were built in, ready to go out of the box. I've never been a huge fan of Spring, so the official CDI stuff was very appealing to me as well. So, and then on top of that, you've got this thing called Tommy Plus, which has these as well, but aren't in the actual certified product. And for me, again, I was very much interested in the JAX RS, the RESTful services side of things, because my focus recently, I've been working on my own things for a while, is that I've been having to do my own sort of like HTML front ends and Angular and things like that, and that naturally lends itself to some degree towards using RESTful services at the back end. So that's how I came about this. But that's an aside for this Tommy product. Go and check it out. It's actually very impressive. Very smart bunch of people actually putting that together. So, talking about Tomcat itself, again, we might go over ground that you all might know. But Tomcat has this concept of valves, and really they're just like the pipeline elements of the workflow from start to finish. Valves are used for their access login, their access control, authentication, and that's just the A's. So we're going to talk about. We're going to talk today about the problem that I had to solve for access logs. So the access log valve for Tomcat records or attempts to record all your actual requests that are incoming, whether HTTP, HTTPS, and it out of the box it will record your information into a logs directory within your installed software base, and it's a minimal set that it will record, and it's actually controlled by a file in the conf server.xml, and it's that piece there that you see there, the valve. As I said, the files end up in the logs subdirectory, and the default out of the box will give you default daily rotation. So you'll end up with that first file you see there, but you can change it again by adding to the actual valve XML property there, element there. So you can have daily, hourly, monthly, I suppose, if you really wanted to. But in testing, we actually did we did some minute by minute access logs, so we could actually record all the that just came in a minute. So there are many options that you can put in that XML element. which control its file name, its location, and actually what goes into the file itself. You can record things such as the average response time, it's in milliseconds, things like that. Or you can take them out, or you can actually disable it completely if you don't want to record your access logs at all, just by removing it from the server.xml file itself. The environment that I was working in was an ad-based server, and we had at that time, I think when I first started this, about 75 servers worldwide in different colos. We actually had an odd requirement. Before my time, they actually had 3 instances of Tomcat on each machine, and they put them on 8080 to 8082 ports. They have an Nginx front end to actually round robin to them. So, and it was on an hourly rotation. So if you do the math, it's 225 similarly named files per server. And the problem I had was that we were backing up to Amazon's Glacier for sort of like, what do they call that, slow retrieval service. Really it's a storage. And I can't for the life of me remember exactly why, but having 225 similarly named files was a problem for sysops. So the request from sysops, and you'll see me smile because I'm sure you'll come to the same conclusion, they wanted the machine name and the port in the actual access log itself. So the port itself is easy to obtain because for each of those 3 instances you actually have to say which port it's going to, so that comes as a command line prompt anyway. So, but there are no valve options out of the box that could give this type of file name. So you're probably all thinking, well, I'm pretty sure I could do that in Bash. So, which I obviously thought, and probably everybody else thought as well, but here's the thing with sysops. They're a quirky bunch who sometimes they like things done their way, or sometimes let's just call them quirky. Anyway, so and the only thing I can say about that is there's a good reason why DevOps has come into existence. It's because developers are ended up doing some of the sysops operation. Apologies to any sysops if I ever did that. So anyway, so the steps I took to achieve what sysops wanted. So I obviously downloaded the source distribution. I went straight for the access log valve because that was clearly labeled as a class in the actual XML. So I went straight to that access log valve.java there. 2 things immediately I noticed. One, none of the methods were final, so extendable. And secondly, there's actually an extended access log valve class in that directory too. And it did exactly what I just said, which is extend the class to do some things. I think that was put by as a requirement for the W3C extended log format or something like that. They had to actually produce that. So I think that's why that file was there. Anyway, so I created my just a very, very small Java file, super value. I think I actually meant to say super valve, so that's why I'm saying these slides may be a little bit wrong. And when I actually looked at the Tomcat access log valve, it became apparent that I really only needed to override one method. So that made it really, so that was it. Oh my God, you're never going to read that. So in a nutshell, this is the entire code. So, but I know you can't read it, but it's incredibly tiny. It's an incredibly simple piece of code. All it really has to do is get the system property from that -d startup parameter, default it if it's not there, and likewise use the java.net package to actually retrieve the host name and get the local host name on that. Splice them together with what is already provided, because you're actually extending the class, so the prefix has already been done, and it's done. So to build it, just build that one class. Compile it, JavaSIG it. So again, you just include. I guess I did try this out at some point because I got the 8024 Tomcat there. So compile it with the existing libraries that you've downloaded as well. Just make it a single class jar, and then move it into place. And all you have to do is actually move it into, you know, the Tomcat lib directory. Then now you've actually got to reference that class you just generated in the XML. So go to server.xml instead of changing the old one from the Catalina one to the one you've created, the superval. Then restart it, and you'll start seeing files like this. So you see the host name, the port number, and what it was before, which is the access log, exactly as it was before. So this is, you know, this is why this was an ideal candidate for a flash talk, because it's very quick, very simple. When I actually tackled this about a year or so ago, even I was surprised. I was like, that took me 30 minutes to do. So in summary, really easy to just download, amend, add, extend the code and override what you need to do, compile class in this particular case, or same one in a jar, put it in the Tomcat's lib directory, change your reference to the server, restart, and you are good to go. So I guess what I hope you take away with this is it's actually really easy to do tiny little tweaks for your production environment in the Tomcat code. So with that, thank you very much.